a little story about us and them. I know it's not very PC, but bear with me. You probably got up this morning and had yourself an us breakfast, maybe fair trade coffee, pasture-raised eggs, organic whole grains, things like that. Getting yourself all fueled up for spending a day here in Berkeley, California, the literal birthplace of the American real food movement. An us kind of place. You know who we are. We love that kind of stuff. They, on the other hand, probably ate, I don't know, a Pop-Tart maybe for breakfast. We wouldn't be caught dead with a Pop-Tart between these erudite jaws. Unless it was organic, but I'll get to that later. We're an exclusive little group, elitist, maybe, some could say. We may even come from one of the 3 holy cities of fooddom. Brooklyn, not New York, Brooklyn, Berkeley, or Portland, Oregon, not Maine. Woo! Now me, I'm a chef and a radio host, and I have the luxury of buying my vegetables from farmers markets that are grown locally. I have the privilege of spending $7 for a dozen pastured eggs, and I'll spend 3 hours in the woods on my knees to pick a cup's worth of wild blueberries because, you know, that's what I do. I raise bees on my roof in Brooklyn. I only watch PBS cooking shows, and I read Lucky Peach. Actually, I watch Hell's Kitchen. But don't tell anybody. That's sort of my point. I try really hard to actually eat a real food diet. I try to keep things as organic and local and seasonal and blah, blah, blah as I can. But I'm lucky. I live in one of those holy cities of food. And compared to the standard American diet, which is conveniently initialed SAD, think about it. Where people get their vegetables from veggie booty puffs and their fruit from crunch berries, I'm definitely considered an elitist. And to the Tea Party's "don't tread on my right to poison myself" voter niche, I'm absolutely considered an elitist. Considering also that I spend more on my eggs than I do on gas, I'm probably not just in the 1%, but probably more like in the 0.01%, but I don't care either way because for the first time in my life, I am in the top % of something. But I'm not totally out of touch with the 99%. I mean, I have friends who drink cupcake-flavored vodka. Well, one friend. And friends who get their vitamins from purple-flavored water, not fruit and vegetables. I go out to dinner with people who just want to eat a steak and not know what the cow had for dinner. Even my Zumba teacher pounds the gummy vitamins like they're candy, which, as I've explained to him, they are. Now, I may not be friends with the Sarah Palin cookie defender crowd or obese suburbanites who drive their little motorized mobility scooters through the drive-thru, but I know they exist. I've seen them on TV. And since we know that cupcake flavoring in vodka probably does cause cancer and that fruits and vegetables are where vitamins come from, not purple flavored water, and that a gummy with added vitamin C is still just a gummy, and that steak probably comes not just with a baked potato, but with a good dose of hormones and antibiotics, it's pretty clear that the message about what industrialization has done to our food is not getting through to them. Remember the us and them? That's what this is about. I mean, they can tell you what a Kardashian just tweeted, or when Kate Middleton's baby is due, or things like that, but they can't tell you that that can of tuna you're about to eat is toxically high in mercury, or that chickens are actually supposed to eat bugs and poop and worms and dirt, not corn and soybeans, or that the pictures of vegetables on those bags of veggie puffs are just that, pictures of vegetables. I'm also not totally out of touch because I sometimes do venture forth outside of my glass-domed borough of Brooklyn, where my neighbors really do raise chickens and wear ironic eyewear. That I realize that the message isn't working, it's not getting across to the 99%. I mean, first of all, real food is totally inconvenient. It requires work. You have to shop for it and prep and plan and cook and wash, and you have to have a kitchen, and you even have to use a plate and maybe a fork. That's a lot of actual work to do in a virtual world. And second of all, real food is actually really hard to find. I mean, you walk around your average supermarket today, there are 40,000 different products on the shelf, but none of them are actually food. Processed food has become incredibly convenient. All you need is a hand, a mouth, and $1. And for anyone who's ever sent a Facebook birthday message instead of mailing a birthday card, or used the moving sidewalk at the airport instead of walking, we know that Americans are slaves to convenience. It totally rules us. It's our most cherished contemporary American value, even above the housewives and Twitter and Jesus. I don't actually know how the Ingalls family did it. I mean, how did Laura Ingalls and her family get across the entire continent in a covered wagon? Or even the Jodes in that broken down truck of theirs without stopping along the way at a single Denny's? I mean, it's truly a wonder that we ever made it west of Philadelphia, really. So Americans don't really know what real food is anymore. We have no idea what real food is. I mean, we eat things like apple cinnamon flavored instant oatmeal or diet yogurt with artificially sweetened apple pie flavored chunks or Apple Jacks. But food has become so far removed from its original food form that we can't actually recognize it anymore. It's like the artificial has redefined the original. It's like knowing who Lindsay Lohan is, but not Elizabeth Taylor. Sorry, messed up the slide there. It's like knowing who Lindsay Lohan is, but not Elizabeth Taylor. Thank you, that's better. And since food isn't just a matter of survival anymore, it's become really just a service. I mean, you don't have to really be into it or care about it for it to matter to you anymore. Food has basically become like a hobby or a fetish to some of us. It's basically become just another utility like gas or electric or a regular booty call. We don't want to know what's in it or where it came from. We just want it when we need it, and then for it to just go away and let us get some sleep. So we, the real food elite, we're not really sending the right message to everybody else. We're sending out the message that they should make a huge effort for something that's incredibly inconvenient that they may not even understand or care about. We want people to care about whether stuff is local, seasonal, or organic. I mean, how are you supposed to know about any of that? I mean, after all, what's the season for veggie puffs? Where is the protein bar ranch? Are the goldfish in my goldfish crackers farmed or wild caught? Why should I spend my time cooking expensive grass-fed meat at home when I can go to the drive-thru, have somebody hand the burger to me, and never have to get out of my SUV or off of my little mobility scooter? How do you know what real food is if you don't know you're eating fake food in the first place? Now, your great-grandmother knew what real food was because in her day there was nothing but real food. And eating real food back then didn't make you elite. Keeping your own teeth past the age of 30, that made you elite. But since the post-war years, we've done so much damage to our food supply and industrialized it so much that we've done incredible damage to our health. The US, which has 5% of the world's adult population, now also has 1/3 of the world's excess weight. In other words, we're fat. We know that. That's old news. Look around. But we're becoming, well, not here in Berkeley, but, fly over, yeah. We're becoming the cute little potato people from the movie WALL-E, but not really as cute as them. Even my hometown of New York City, once the capital of too rich and too thin, now has to widen its subway seats and order heavy-duty ambulances. And it's not just the 7-Elevens popping up all over Manhattan, but the population who will happily shop at them. Bye-bye, Big Apple. Hello, Big Gut. So what we need to do is stop thinking like us, because obviously the message isn't getting through, and start thinking like them. If we expect people to get real about real food, we have to start thinking where people are. If we expect everybody to grow vegetables and raise bees and grow their own fruit trees, they're just going to keep eating nuggets and puffs. So first of all, we need to define what food is. What is food? Well, if it walked, swam, grew, or flew, it's food. You can say that about flounder or asparagus or walnuts, but you can't say that about protein bars or crunch berries or Hello Kitty gummy snacks. So if it walked, swam, grew, or flew, it's food. An apple is food. Whether it's seasonal or local or organic or flown in from Chile in the middle of the winter, it's food. If you cook it at home into applesauce or bake it into a pie, it's still food. But if that apple stops off on the way in a factory or a manufacturing plant and gets manipulated, and it gets cooked down into a sweetened paste and then has vitamin C added back into it and then pumped into a whole grain cereal bar with added omega-3s, it's what I call foodiness. Foodiness promises all the wholesome, simple goodness of an apple, but delivers all the empty, sugary nothingness of a candy bar. The consumer is bamboozled by foodiness into thinking that the foodiness product delivers more than the actual food. It's like a foodiness wolf in sheep's clothing. Like Stephen Colbert, who with that one silver bullet word, truthiness, convinced us that you-know-who, even when he wasn't telling the truth, if he told us he was telling the truth, Foodiness does the same thing. It recasts all those thousands of supermarket products that are not actually food as food. Now, I know that nobody really wants to go blueberry picking with me or cares that much about it. Well, a few people, but I have very few friends, Nobody likes to go out with me. I know that real food is super inconvenient, but so is heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, and early death. So maybe it's worth the effort. It may not be as interesting as Pinteresting, but it's probably more worth the time. Now, the only way to make a sea change about this is to stop thinking where the quinoa eating us are and start thinking where the cereal bar eating them are. The real food movement preaches to the choir like one big organic food co-op circle jerk. Sorry. Or tries to inspire the scooter riders to stir fry instead of Kentucky fry. And with all the confusing and opposing messages that are being sent to us all the time, we now have a new eating disorder called orthorexia, which is something where you can't eat anything because it's not clean enough, healthy enough, organic enough, green enough, safe enough. Patient zero. So where do we start? Well, we can start at the Megamart, the Walmart, or the Mini-Mart. We can give people choices, simple things like eat food, not foodiness. Eat fruit, not fruit bars. Eat vegetables, not veggie puffs. If it comes in a bottle, don't drink it unless it's alcohol. Feed kids cheese, not string. Eat chicken, not fingers. Food may not be as convenient as foodiness, but it's a small step toward making a big change. You can find out about the provenance and the birthplace and who the farmer was and what the chicken's name was later. And since we're also inundated with foodiness propaganda, like enhanced foods, foods that are better, foods that are smarter, foods that are better than real food, we need to uncast those spells with messages like, food is already smart. If it tastes like candy, it is. And whole grains come from plants, not Captain Crunch. So I'm setting a very low threshold here. What I think we need is a real food GPS for the takeout counter. We need simple ideas for people like eat a banana instead of a banana Slurpee. Eating a 1,000-mile winter strawberry is better than a strawberry Go-Gurt. Go-Gurt? Is that from Armenia? And eating a burger that you cook at home, even if its last meal was corn, not grass, is always better than the Foodiness fast food burger. Real human friends are always better than Facebook friends. And the original Stepford Wives will always be better than the Real Housewives. So making a doable, foodiness-free lifestyle available for everyone is easy. I don't expect you to have chickens or start a garden or, hand harvest your own sea salt, but maybe if we start taking these small steps, we can reach everybody and eventually we can begin to move the dial and then hopefully the scales. We can still tweet about it and pin it and post it and whatever we do about it and still get home in time to watch Hell's Kitchen. Thank you.